So as we've got a Ford Expedition, and the problem is the harmonic balancer on it is a Chrysler style. See those little tangs? There's one there, one here. They look like saw blades. Basically those are to be used with a Chrysler harmonic balance puller. It looks like this. So what's a Chrysler one doing on a Ford? And the reason why we're being so picky about it is we're installing a big fancy alternator that requires a 7 or 8 groove belt to be bolted to the harmonic balancer. So we're going to have to replace it with one that is threaded and has holes. Normally what you'd use to pull the harmonic balancer on a Ford is a harmonic balancer puller, which is just a little bolt through puller, and you just bolt it to the bolt holes in the harmonic balancer pulley and pull it out. So, but if you haven't worked on a lot of Dodge Neons to know about that design, basically Ford got a better deal on this one, and so they put this on there. It's a Dodge Neon type harmonic balancer. So, and that's what we'll do is we'll use the Chrysler harmonic balance puller and pull it off. Now you know. Want to see the rest of the car? It's pretty cool. I like this one. This one's been done by Ames. It's got all the emergency lights in the front of the grille. They've got the strobe flash bulbs and the fog lights. They've got the little LED corner marker lights. Just really clean install. And it's got the leather, the Expedition EL leather seats. And just everything's done so nice and so clean, just very professional. You look to the back, it's got the code 3 light bar, but it's just all whited out. So it just doesn't, it looks kind of, it's like semi undercover basically. And then you've got the code 3 LED lights in the back window. You got 2 here and a couple here. And then you've got these cut into the backup light housing. You can see the cut where they've inserted it there. And then you've also got a strobe here. And then I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's there. That turned out good. There's a strobe in the red one too. And then another code 3 LED light bulb, light bar across the back too. So pretty cool. And this one is getting a great big light bar, or not light bar, this heavy duty alternator, to be able to support these great big outdoor lamps. So you can just really light things up and make it like it's daytime. But before, this is a 5,000 watt alternator. When the engine's revved up, just idling at 850 RPM, it puts out 2,000 watts. This is the new one that's going into this one. So it's pretty cool. We just need to get it set up to where we can put the new bracket in. We ordered a bracket from CW Wells from Kansas. CW Mills. And we'll go into this bracket, and this bracket goes across the front of the engine. And it comes with all kinds of mounting hardware and specialized pulleys and a tensioner, you know, to accommodate a really wide belt. And then also for the fan clutch, it also has an adapter to space the fan clutch out away from the fan, the belt that'll be running behind it for the alternator. See, here's a standard alternator for a Ford, and then here is the Power Innovations brand alternator, which is a dual stator alternator. You can see the black band here. This has a single stator, and this has 2 just right in a row. It's pretty beefy when you compare them side by side. So this will put out as much as, you know, your 5,000 watt generators, and you have it in the vehicle. It's got a breaker system that's pretty impressive too. You can see the 3 breakers in a row here. You just close them this way and then test them that way, or open them. Pretty cool. It's interesting once you get the fan shroud and everything out. I like to put cardboard in front of the radiator to save the fins on it, keep it clean and nice. But you look how much room there is in this. When you have a inline 6-cylinder diesel engine or any of these other bigger engines, You just leave room for it, and the transmission will mount in the same place pretty much regardless, but because the frame and the cross members will line up a certain way. But when you put in a little gas motor like this, has a 5.4 liter in it, and it doesn't quite make it all the way to the front. So you get this big open space once you get the enormous fan shroud out of it. So anyway, thought this was kind of fun, so I'd throw up a video. It's not really a how-to necessarily, other than, you know, of this particular scenario, which not very many people are going to run into, but it's kind of interesting just the same. So here's how you operate the Chrysler Harmonic balance puller. And yes, we are in a Ford. You just put the rod, it's two rods, there's one that's long and one that's short. You have the bolt removed, and then with the bolt removed, you line up each of these three little jaws with the harmonic balancer. There'll be a little tab that it hooks onto. They look kind of like saw teeth. See there? And you just crank it down. So the socket that you use for this is a 24 or a 27. It's a 24 millimeter. So then you just crank it down, and as you do that, you'll notice that it just starts to separate, starts to come off. Sometimes you have to crank it and then switch rods to the longer rod to get it all the way off, because these are pressed on all the way on. So when you go to install it, you have to get a longer bolt to get it to start, and then use the factory bolt to complete it, because if you hammer this on, it can damage the thrust bearing for the crankshaft that centers the crankshaft where it needs to be. I just bottomed out there, so it's time to loosen this bolt, and you can try wiggling the harmonic balancer and see if you can get it to come off manually, but otherwise, so this is how this works. Otherwise, I'll have to put in that longer one. See, this is not wobbly yet. Oh, there we go, I got a little wobble. But you can wobble it one way, and then the other way, one way and the other way, and pull it off the rest of the way. Otherwise, you got to get that longer rod and run it again. When you go to install the pulley, you need to have a bolt that is an M12, that's metric, by 1.5, not 1.25, not 1.75, 1.5. Good luck finding it. And it needs to be 3 inches of threaded bolt section in order to get it started on there. And then you can use this factory bolt to get it the rest of the way. And that's how you do it. Make sure to put a little transmission fluid around the inside of it, a little motor oil on the outside, because this is a sealing surface. You've got a timing seal behind that. You don't want any oil leaks. And then clean this surface of the washer and seal it with silicone, because there is a possibility, especially where the woodruff or the keyway is, for the oil to come out that way. So what's fun is once you get the alternators in and all the regulators, it's got a clean power distribution box where it converts it back and forth to have a consistent, constant, clean power supply. No spikes, no interruptions, or anything like that. As you can see, you've got these great big lights. You've got one low and one high, and they come out and they have an independent stand. You can see it's kind of a tripod that deploys, and you can light up a pretty big area with that. And you've got all your gear that can be stored here. And of course, a fire extinguisher, and you've got a powered power outlet. Just grab it and run. You can plug into things and power them when the power goes out. You can see you've got a bunch of power strips available here. And then with the tailgate open, they even have the lights that are mounted on the tailgate so that you can operate this way. It's one of those keep back 500 feet kind of deals. But it's a pretty cool setup, neat concept. The idea is to be able to power a medical unit or do something in the event of a flood or an earthquake or some kind of disaster. Or in this case, investigate a crime scene. I forgot to show that this has those deploying running boards. So it looks just like the rocker panel, and it just folds up and down just like that. Really slick little system. I like these.